Well, there are huge opportunities in East Africa's financial subsector, the banking industry to be specific. Probably that some players that already sit in this sector are not seeing. For instance, what would interest Nigeria's biggest lender, Access Bank, to actually express interest into the East African region? They've not only expressed interest, they've already acquired a player in the region. In Kenya, Transnational Bank has already been acquired by Access Bank. Now, analysts are telling us that one of the biggest motivations for this move is the nascent oil and gas subsector. So anytime from soon, we expect them to also point at the Ugandan market. But that will be for another day. This is Money and Markets. I am Charles Bod, your host. You're welcome to the show. First off, Uganda last week played host to a big delegation from the Democratic Republic of Congo, led by the country's president. Now, one of the main motivations for this engagement, according to analysts, was trade. Let's find out how deep are trade relationships between Uganda and Congo, and do we have a private sector ready to play in that space?
Alright, so it's nice to have you on the show, Money and Markets. You're most welcome. Uganda is trying to reach out to our neighbors in terms of trade, like DRC, the Democratic Republic of Congo. What do we make of this move?
In relation to what you have just asked, the issue of the move for DRC, I think it is very timely. We should have actually done it yesterday, but better late than never. DRC is a very strategic partner for us in terms of trade. If you look at we have a boundary of about 700 kilometers, and that shows nothing but opportunity. So we are very excited as a country in terms of looking at this huge market.
Do you think the government or the private public sector is prepared enough to make the best out of this opportunity with DRC?
Oh yes. The public sector, actually both the private sector and the public sector have paid a lot of attention in this, and you realize this, that as the government of Uganda, we have already had a bilateral talk much earlier last year with DRC, where we even signed an MOU. We are having border engagements. As a country, we are looking at strategic infrastructure to support us to penetrate the Democratic Republic of Congo. You have also just realized of recent, which is I think yesterday, but one, we had a state visit by His Excellency, the President of the Democratic Republic of Congo. We had a meeting in Nyonyo and eventually in NTV at State House. Now, we are looking at this very strategically in terms of the trade support infrastructure. And as you realize, a number of MOUs and understanding actually has been signed. We are going now to look at strategic roads that take us into the market.
Do you see the private sector on board?
Actually, the private sector, you see, this is a liberalized economy. And actually, our private sector is at the lead. One of the things that amused me most yesterday when we were having the engagement, one of the private sector actually showed the Democratic Republic of Congo the opportunity that is alive. For example, we are importing a lot of palm oil from Malaysia and all those other countries, and this palm oil actually originated from DRC, and therefore this actually shows a huge potential, which from the discussion I see a lot of excitement. The private sector in DRC have embraced this, and we are very excited about it.
How do you rate the performance of our private sector today?
Now, something very interesting. The private sector in this country at one time had actually collapsed. But over time, with the initiatives that the government put in place, they have woken up and they're actually moving. What you'll notice, the private sector in Uganda started downstream, meaning they started at the extreme end of their development, and as we speak now, they are moving backwards on the chain, and this is very evident when you see Most of these fellas started as trading institutions, and they have upgraded. They are now installing technology. They are moving upwards. They are getting into bigger value addition processes.
How do we as a country build a strong and competitive private sector?
Now, first and foremost, you need to know that the private sector has interests that needs to be promoted, and these interests are very wide. It ranges from their skills, to financing, to technology, to markets, and so on. Now, how do we develop them? One, government has established a number of financing institutions, and key among this is the Uganda Development Bank, which is being capitalized. Government is working on the infrastructure. You must be able to see that the roads are now very good. We are looking at the neighboring country roads like the bridges and the linking roads. Electricity used to be somewhere around 10 US cents, but has gone down. I think we are now at around 7 point something there per kilowatt hour. Obviously, we are striving to see that this gets to 5 US cents per kilowatt hour, because it's a major input into their processes if we want them to be competitive. Skilling is another big thing that is happening. Under the Private Sector Foundation, there is a fund to help them develop their skills. The academic institutions are also being aligned to that line, so that they should actually be providing or producing what the private sector requires. So government is ensuring that such things happen. In addition to that, we are also, as government, we engage them. For example, when we have bilateral engagements, as you saw when we had with DRC, we ensure that the private sector actually comes in and they are at the center of the discussion, so that all the issues they have are brought out and then a way forward is sought.
It was nice having you on the show.
Thank you very much.